Today we have very interesting theme. We will try to make two things which could approach to Provence style, to that provincial French style which embodies the spirit of France and which is the most fashionable for today, thanks to its simplicity and easiness. We hope very much that the given theme will be pleasant to you, and you, using our advices and recommendations, will try to create any subject of an interior independently, that it could exist in this style. So, we remember about the colors of paints which have faded on the sun, a smell of spices, the lavender color, and about the comfortable old house with simple and good furniture. Hello, my name is Natasha Fokhtina, and I'm glad as always to welcome you in our studio. Today we have the most interesting lesson. We will draw attention to Provence style. The word Provence literally means a province. The image of French Provence can be created from olive gardens and lavender fields, the beaches of Côte d'Azur in the south, the Alps in the east, and the deep Rhone in the west. Human life in these places is quiet and measured, is filled with the sun and sea air. From here, and interiors of this style, simple, light and comfortable. The Provence style became the dream of any city dweller who was tired of a big city wreath. The Provence style has appeared in 19th century in a silent province of France on the Mediterranean coast. This style has many admirers, among them there are the poets and the artists. The magic beauty of this land is shown in the pictures of Matisse and Picasso. And Van Gogh sang of the Provence beauty and told, "The nature here is that you begin to feel what the color is." And in general, 15th and 17th centuries considered as the period of origin and formation of Provence style. Even the France was enough inconsistent and differed in the north and in the south. However, the general feature of its regions, there was an inspiration to exquisite lightness and airiness in all. This trait remained forever the one of the main characteristics of this style. The lightness became a leitmotif for any achievements of the country. It's in music, in the fine arts, and in an interior of Provence. You should draw attention that in this style the naturalness, heredity on the verge of antiquity are especially important. The internal decoration, the furniture and a refined color solution define the Provence style of an interior. The pastel color gamut with bright moments feature for Provence. The roof plaster with show-through brick and stone work. The most different pastel shades use at room design. On the pale walls, the accent passes to gobelins and pictures, and also to upholstery fabrics. The typical colors of this style, faded, pastel, milky white and beige, also are popular colors of lavender, sea waves, ochre, a sunflower and terracotta. The using of combinations of pastel blue and gentle yellow colors, which symbolize the meadows, is typical of Provence style. About this style, it's written a lot of interesting in various encyclopedias, therefore I won't reread to you further, that you can learn without me. I've decided to offer you the interesting game. Imagine a thing which could live in this house, or rather in the house in Provence style. After all, in any province, even in the French, there live different people and they have different tastes and ideas of beauty and different interiors. I suggest you to plunge into this atmosphere and to live a little there, create some things. For example, such casket with graces on the cover necessary would lodge in my house, and here such tag with Provence soap. You probably represent your Provence somehow differently, but it's yours, and I have such. I have decided to share with you the secrets of making of my works, using which you can create the unique things as you see them. So, we will begin our creative travel. So, we begin our work with decoration here such a remarkable casket. The most important thing is to prepare the half-finished product for work, in other words, to polish it good using the sandpaper, and if there is any splits, to remove them using the acrylic primer. Further, there is an habitual operation. We take white acrylic ground and put it on the product, smearing by a piece of foam rubber over the entire surface. Further, there is a drying and polishing by the sandpaper. The casket should become very even and smooth, and after that we can pass to a decor. I, as a first paint layer, took a paint of wood green colors, put it by soft brush on the casket surface a thin layer. We try to smear the paint that there won't be dabs or clots. Further, again there is a drying. I notice that if you want to use in work the hair dryer, draw your attention that the recommended time for paint layer drying is 2 hours. Further, we take a piece of a household candle and we put paraffin on the borders of the casket. It's not necessary to do it too plentifully, it's enough to touch slightly with the candle the casket, that subsequently it will have the antique appearance. And always estimate the work format and the effect size which you have thought up for it. And style, in which we work, doesn't assume absolutely shabby things. Our casket can be old, slightly faded, but it should be carefully kept and favored. After paraffin, we need to put on the casket a layer of a white acrylic paint. Besides, the paint layer should be thin and even. We smear a paint using the soft synthetic brush over the surface, and we pass to product drying. Because under the white paint we still had paraffin, I wouldn't recommend you hot drying, as it can melt at heating, but if the hair dry not to bring close, it's quite possible to reduce the time of product drying. If you don't have extra 2 hours, it's possible to do it. Now we pass to aging of the casket surface. We take a piece of the sandpaper and remove with its help a superfluous paint, and superfluous it only there where has been put the paraffin. By the way, when we rub with sandpaper a white paint layer, through it begins to appear green. The effect is very beautiful, but it will be even more interesting and the surface becomes softer, in other words, without sudden callosity, if we make the abrasion of a paint layer in the wet way. For this purpose, it's necessary to moisten or a piece of a moisture-resistant sandpaper in water, or to use the wet abrasive sides of sponges for washing, and with them properly rub a colorful multi-rayed surface. Here, draw attention that if you work in the wet method, wipe off with a napkin a smearing paint at once. If not to do it, the casket surface will be painted in green color. And don't forget, after the water procedure, we need to dry up the casket well. Now we need to choose a decor. As we have the Provence style, I choose a napkin with herbs. In my opinion, it amazingly will approach for this theme. We pull out the napkin decor of the necessary size, separate the top layer with drawing from too unnecessary, put it to a cover of the casket and glue, coating from above with a flat synthetic brush with white glue or glue for a decoupage. We dry a paper decor on the cover and we pass to casket boards. I've decided to glue them over with such ornament, quite rural, provincial and very touching. I cut a napkin on the strips and glue over each side of the casket separately. To tell the truth, any ornament is very difficult to glue. After all, the napkin is well stretched and deformed when on it put glue. But if it preliminary iron to remove the perforation, you will have much less troubles. By the way, those who are able to glue the napkin through a file for papers will make it absolutely without wrinkles. After the paper decor will dry up, we should polish properly the product with the sandpaper to rub neatly the napkin, make the drawing on it slightly shabby and translucent. Further, we take the antique medium brown wooden color and with it we soil the casket along the edges that it became more contrast and will have the antique appearance. We dry the medium and again we take in hands the sandpaper and we work with it. The edges become easier and our thing become even and elegant. Now we pass to a decor of a tag for a bathroom. At first, we prepare a surface. We work it up with a sandpaper. If that is necessary, we remove the splits and imperfections with the help of acrylic filling, and we cover a surface with white acrylic ground. We put the ground properly, smearing with a foam rubber piece. Further, we dry and grind the product with the sandpaper, and only after that we can choose a paper decor. I've decided to take rice paper on which there are labels from Provence soap. I cut out one of the pictures throughout the counter, put to the grounded and polished half-finished product, and glue, coating from above with a flat synthetic brush with white glue or glue for decoupage. Further, we dry a paper decor and we select the bottom color for a background. I suggest to take the acrylic paint mahogany color and to paint with it a surface of the tag around a paper decor. We put the paint by a soft brush, properly smearing it on the product surface. Further, there is a drying and paraffin putting on the edges of our object of decoration. Then, from above, we should put not thick layer of white acrylic paint. Also smear well the paint that it lay down evenly. We dry also this paint layer, and then we take the sandpaper and do with it help shabby callosity as a result of abrasion of the top layer here and there. At the product edges there will be mahogany. It's very beautiful effect, but we will cover it up under a paper decor. I have decided to glue all product with a paper decor. As I already told, in the center I glued the rice paper and around I used napkins. I have selected to this label here such strips. In my opinion, they are remarkable combined both on color and on style with the central image. I cut them on pieces that with them it will be easier to work and glue. Further, drying and rubbing with sandpaper a paper decor. It becomes more thin and interesting. I notice that the effect of the callosity on a rice paper looks very interesting and unusually, because in it there are inclusions in the form of fibers. And certainly we can't work without the antique medium. We replace with it a patina. We need to put it on the edges of the product and to soil a little with it the drawing that the product became antique. We dry and again we take the sandpaper. Now, with its help, we remove the surpluses of a patina, make the work light and elegant. By the way, I've decided to decorate this label here with such satiny ribbon. Draw attention that I have soiled it a little with the medium of brown color and then have fixed to the product and have tied a bow. I think that this thing can quite live in the house, where the interior is designed in Provence style. I think that today I have told you everything that I wanted about how to create two interesting things in rural style. In our program, we have paid attention to Provence style, but I obviously didn't begin to use the pastel colors and lavender images in a decor. In my opinion, it's not so interesting and is banal. After all, any person imagines so the interior things of this style. I think that the technological features and some methods of aging will be for you more valuable and you necessarily use them in the works. And will you make them pastel, bright, faded or lavender? Depends on how you see your interior in this style. And in general, I advise not to limit yourself in frameworks of any separate style. After all, it's described by designers, and they have their own taste and the passions. Try to understand and present the atmosphere of the French province. Try to sync up your own interior, and then you can create a scene which you would decorate the house. And though there is an opinion that Provence is a very limited and authentic style, and that exactly therefore this interior looks ideally only in the homeland without its separation from national soil. Also, it's said that it very difficultly to create in Russia, as it was formed many long years in the south of France. But we don't pretend to accuracy of execution. We can use in our works the characteristic features of this style: the antique and shabby surface, faded a few colors of paints, thinness and transparency of paint layers. Also, we with pleasure can play with all it. After all, for the creative person, a word style is like the amazing journey. On it, I say goodbye to you to new ideas, with wishes of all good. With you, there was Natasha Fokhtina. Good luck and goodbye.